Iran and the United States, two nations whose relationship has been marked by tension, mistrust, and moments of explosive confrontation. While political rivalries are common across the world, few have created shockwaves as powerful as the times when Iran directly or indirectly attacked the United States. In today's episode of America's Biggest Crimes, we break down three major incidents that marked defining moments in this long-standing hostility. These are not just isolated attacks, they are layered with politics, religion, revenge, and power. Each one changed the trajectory of diplomacy, war, and peace in the Middle East. Let's dive into the details. The first one is the 1979 Iran hostage crisis, November 4, 1979, a date that sent shockwaves across the globe. In the heart of Tehran, hundreds of radical Iranian students scaled the walls of the US Embassy and took 66 American citizens hostage. The crisis lasted 444 days. It wasn't just an act of aggression. It was a revolution roaring with anti-American sentiment. The backdrop? The Islamic Revolution. Just months earlier, the Shah of Iran, a US-backed monarch, was overthrown. Ayatollah Khomeini, a radical cleric, took power. Iranians blamed America for years of political oppression under the Shah. The embassy takeover was, to them, justified revenge. But to the world, it was a humanitarian and diplomatic crisis. President Jimmy Carter's administration launched a failed rescue mission, Operation Eagle Claw. The mission ended in a sandstorm and a tragic crash that killed 8 US soldiers. When the hostages were finally released on January 20, 1981, moments after Ronald Reagan was sworn in, the world breathed a sigh of relief, but the damage had been done. Trust was gone. To this day, the US and Iran have not restored full diplomatic ties. The second major attack was the 1996 Khobar Towers bombing. June 25, 1996. A thunderous explosion rocked the city of Dhahran, Saudi Arabia. The target? Khobar Towers, a US Air Force housing complex. The result? 19 American servicemen dead, over 370 injured. At first, confusion reigned. Who was responsible? Fingers pointed at different extremist groups, but in time the truth emerged. Members of Hezbollah al-Hijaz, a group backed by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, had orchestrated the attack. The truck bomb used was massive, equivalent to 20,000 pounds of TNT. The planning was meticulous, the intent devastatingly clear. This was a calculated message. The US military presence in the Middle East was not welcome. What made this attack especially infuriating was the diplomatic wall the US hit when trying to bring suspects to justice. Iran denied involvement. Saudi Arabia was cautious. And years passed before US courts indicted Iranian officials in absentia. The Khobar Towers bombing marked a turning point. It signaled that Iran could strike indirectly with deadly precision and through proxies, all while maintaining plausible deniability before hitting the last one. Please, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, just use 5 seconds to look below and hit the subscribe button. Thank you for subscribing. Now let's continue. The third major attack was the 2020 missile attack on US bases in Iraq. January 3, 2020. The United States executed a drone strike near Baghdad International Airport. The target? Major General Qasem Soleimani, commander of Iran's elite Quds force. The impact? Immediate and seismic. Soleimani wasn't just a general, he was Iran's shadow warrior, responsible for orchestrating Iran's influence across Syria, Iraq, Lebanon, and beyond. His assassination was seen by many Iranians as an act of war. Iran responded on January 8th with Operation Martyr Soleimani, launching more than a dozen ballistic missiles at US military bases in Iraq. Despite no immediate fatalities, over 100 American troops suffered traumatic brain injuries. What made this attack historic was the scale, speed, and boldness. This was not a proxy attack, it was direct. Iran publicly claimed responsibility. The world braced for World War III. President Trump held off on a direct military counterattack, choosing instead to increase sanctions. But the message was clear. The US-Iran conflict had escalated to new heights. 3 different decades, 3 different attacks, but the same underlying tension. Iran and the United States remain locked in a complex dance of power, pride, and provocation. Each incident left scars on lives, on foreign policy, on national security. And while war has been avoided, the silence is never peaceful. Thank you for watching America's Biggest Crimes. If this deep dive gave you a clearer understanding of US-Iran relations, please subscribe, like, and share. More eye-opening stories are coming soon.